Welcome to How to Run Profitable Retreats. I am Leni Cavazos, retreat strategist and host of the show for coaches, entrepreneurs, and transformational leaders who want to design retreats that actually make money. If you've ever put your heart into a retreat only to walk away exhausted or worse, broke, you are not alone. This podcast is here to change that. Each week, I'll bring you stories, strategies, and expert insights to help you create meaningful, transformational retreats that also support your business, your lifestyle, and your bottom line. Let's make your next retreat not just powerful, but profitable. I'm going to be now talking about retreats and how they can actually be profitable, how you can sell them out, how you can do it from a place where you're helping people's lives, but you get to keep doing it over and over again. Because guess what, people in this room? 90% of people who host their first retreat never host a second one. And there are ways on how to avoid that. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Abby, Liesel, Kellie, Victoria, Sil, Malvina, thank you so much for taking the time to come and meet with this amazing audience of wild women. So what we're going to do now is let's go very quickly around the table. I'll start with Abby and just do a quick introduction of who you are and what you bring to the table. And then we're going to go deep into the space so we can start answering all the questions from all you amazing people who are interested in hosting retreats.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I have a new microphone, so I want to make sure you can hear me. First of all, I just want to say thank you for having us, Leni. The evolution of this summit has been pretty incredible about how all these women that sit in front of you today have come together. It all started actually with a women's wellness retreats group on Facebook that I was gifted with from the universe. And I wanted to say that I have learned so much from all of these women. And so I run this group. I'm running the summit along with Liesel and Kellie and Victoria. We're creating this experience so that these soulful entrepreneurs can come together and learn all of the things that we were just talking about. So I run the summit. I'm running this Facebook group. I've been in the nonprofit sector for many, many years. And so it took me a long time to get over scarcity and learn that money was okay. And that the more money that I earn and create, I can do more with. So I do retreats. I work in Mexico, and I'm also building an off-the-grid retreat center 3 hours south of San Diego in Baja California, Mexico.
I like to mute myself just to make sure there's no background noise, but then I forget to unmute myself. Abby, thank you so much for being here and for being the glue that is bringing all these amazing speakers into this room together and then into the room in San Diego, where everyone is an expert on retreats and they bring so much into the table. Liesel, you want to go next?
Yeah, hi. My name's Liesel Albrecht. I'm all the way in Australia, and it's very early in the morning here, and it's winter for us, so it's very cold. I've been running retreats for about 34 years now, since I was really young. I'd like to say since I was 14, but reality was I was in my 20s. There's two parts of my business. So I run retreats, plus I run training and masterclasses and one-on-one consults for those wanting to run retreats. My main retreat is called the Ultimate Girls Week Away, which we just wrapped up just over a week ago in Vietnam. So that's very exciting. But what I love about it is it's also a training ground for new retreat facilitators to come to learn how to run workshops well, to learn how to hold space, and to also learn all those little tiny bits and pieces of the puzzle that make retreats all come together. So that's me.
Thank you, Liesel. I know, and Vietnam sounds like a dream.
Was amazing.
Kellie, you want to go next?
Yes. Hi. Thank you so much for having me here. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kelly. I am the Chief Curator at HappyMe.Yoga and the co-founder of Retreat Planning Mastery. My background is in marketing in the corporate space. I've been doing special events, brand launches all my life. And then during pandemic, I realized that I can do this for myself. And I married my passion in yoga and meditation into this business that I'm now doing, where I curate workshops for women and workplaces as well.
Victoria.
Yay. Hi, I'm Victoria. I am a Princeton trained psychologist who talks to spirit guides for my living now. And I help people connect with what I think is your greatest superpower, which is your inner wisdom and your intuition. And I've been doing this now for about 15 years. And what brings me into the retreat space is I also happen to be the owner of Cactus Blossom Retreat, which is a beautiful property outside of San Diego. And it was a business that I was guided to 1,000% intuitively, never been to a retreat, never led a retreat, didn't know it was a thing. But I just kept hearing my guides and my intuition as I was moving to California say, oh, do this thing. And I've learned over the years when I get that call, I listen. And it's been an amazing adventure. So that's me.
Thank you, Victoria. Sil?
Yes, I'm Sil Eiler, and I'm right here in San Diego, waiting to host and to see all of you beautiful ladies at our event. And what I do today, this is a big question because my business is international and my business is bilingual. So I host and I mentor a lot of women in events for the Portuguese Brazilian community. And I also work with the Americans and English speaking ladies. So today, my role really is to help women sell. I know a lot of you, you know what you want to offer, and you've created beautiful spaces and beautiful programs, or you want to host your first retreat or even scale that. However, selling it and pushing through when things are hard, when things are not happening, that's a real challenge. And that's my expertise now. I help women overcome those hurdles and get to the other side and really have very successful launches and sold out retreats. So that's what I bring to the table.
Thank you, Sil.
Yeah.
Malvina?
Bonjour, everyone. So happy to be here. I'm Malvina Messler. I'm a feminine leadership coach. And 4 years ago, I decided to redesign my life. And now I split my time between sunny San Diego and beautiful Paris and other destinations. And I was able to do it partially because I stepped into the retreat business. And so I host my signature She Rises in Paris retreat, French Castle retreat, Royal Treatment retreat in Thailand. And I help women reinvent their life and design their businesses with their desired lifestyle in mind. And my background is in franchising. I was a former business coach and I helped many startups take off the ground and be very successful. So that's me.
Thank you, Malvina. All right, very, very excited to have all of you here. So hello for everyone who does not know me yet. I'm Lainey Cavazos. I am the co-host of the Wild Women with Impact Summit. But I also have my company called The Retreat Planner, where we do consulting for retreat leaders, entrepreneurs, and business owners that want to run their retreats like a business. So it's not just about learning how to run one retreat, it's about how to create a machine that actually can scale profit while helping people change their lives. So it's a little bit about me in a nutshell. I love profit, I love numbers. And I do believe that one of the biggest mistakes that happens behind actually selling out retreats is your pricing strategy. And we'll be talking about all these different elements. But the first thing is everyone who's here as an expert is going to go ahead and just quick moments is going to tell us what do they consider is the thing that makes a retreat sell. You can just raise your hands and then we'll go in that order. What do you think makes a retreat sell? Yes.
I'll start. I think what makes a retreat sell is you. that it's really about who you are, what you have to offer. And so you're selling yourself. And so you really have to get to a point where you love yourself enough and respect yourself and your business and love what you're doing enough that you feel comfortable saying, I'm offering myself to you. Whether we use those words or not, I really feel like it's about who you are. You could have the most luxurious place in the world, but if people don't connect with you, it's going to be flat. So I really, it's really about who you are and feeling confident in who you are and following, like Victoria said, that intuitive calling to be who you want to be as a leader.
Thank you, Abby. Victoria.
Yeah, I didn't know if we were raising our Zoom hands or raising our hands.
Your hand is fine.
Okay, good, because it's much easier. Yeah, I love what you said, Abby. And I think too, it's like your passion. Like when you trust that what really calls to you and what really interests you will call to other people, it always does. Like people are attracted to your excitement, your passion. And when you're really excited about something, chances are other people are as well. And so I think the more that we can just authentically do what lights us up when we're bright and shiny, like other people are going to be like, ooh, that looks exciting. So, I've been a podcaster now for 5 years and never once have I thought, oh, what do other people want to hear? It's always about who do I want to interview? What do I want to ask my guides about? What do I want to share? And it works really well because when you are really passionate about something, chances are there's other people out there that you're going to attract to you that are into it too. So I love that.
Thank you. I think Liesel wanted to go next.
Yeah, I agree. And I say to my clients, it doesn't matter what you do, there's a retreat in that. You could be doing the most abstract patchwork running classes, and there will be people that want to go on a retreat about that. So I think about anything. But I think for me, the main things are consistency and connection. So being consistent in what you're doing and being in your lane and running things that people know that you are all about. If you're a yoga teacher and suddenly started running a makeup retreat, people are not going to connect those things together. And that consistency of being around and showing who you are and showing that light that you have to the world is key. And now more than ever before, where there are so many retreats around, really making your light shine and being the creme brulee of retreats, not lumpy custard.
Thank you, Liesel. Kellie.
Thanks. So I'm going to put on my marketing hat and I just drill it down to 3 things. So that will be a clear why. And this is your transformation, right? What are you offering? So it speaks to what our colleagues here say about what are you bringing to the table? What are you passionate? And then number 2 is a clear message. How are you putting this together in marketing speak or in your website, in your social media, talking about the benefits in order to attract that ideal client? And then my third one is actually you, which is to what Abby said, it's really you, your energy, your vision, because people buy into that because there's so many coaches all around the world. That's what I've been learning the past 3 years. I've been working with amazing people and each of them have different flavor, taste, tone. They talk to different audiences. So really we have, 1.3 trillion market out there waiting for us to be served, waiting for us to tell them, to invite them to our space. So that would be my 3 things that sells retreats.
Thank you, Kellie. Malvina.
I love what Kellie said. My marketing head says, yes, yes, yes. It's so true. And for me, all of my retreats are destination retreats. And I always say, come from a place of authenticity. And I choose not the destinations that are pretty or I want to just travel to, but rather destinations that played a big part of my journey and I had a breakthrough in. So I use this destination in such a way that I believe in it. I believe that not only when you go on a She Rises retreat with me, but you are in Paris, that both me and Paris will pour into you, and you'll receive this amazing breakthrough for yourself. So when you have the passion, when you're in integrity with who you are, you're authentically and genuinely excited about the place you're taking people to, then there is no wrong answer. And essentially, those who travel with you, it's kind of like who wants to spend a week with you or 5 days, right? And it's not just who wants to spend time with you, but also who do you want to spend time with. So for me, I definitely have a strict pre-approval process to make sure that I safeguard that sisterhood and community and the energy that's there to create the transformation for women. So make sure that everyone's the right fit. And I think that also becomes a selling point for my clients because they feel so protected. They feel like I'm not just taking anyone. No one can just sign up on a website, but I really do due diligence. So we are the sacred sisterhood.
Thank you, Malvina. Sil?
All right, it's my turn. So I second what everybody here said, and something that I'm very strong about, and I really want you ladies here to understand. And let's put it this way. You have created this, retreat from desire. You are connected, you're bringing you, and sales are not happening. So how do we sell? How do we sell when all the pieces are together? When the puzzle that we thought we had to build is built, but still people are not buying. At that moment, and this is something that I'm so strong about and that I coach all my clients through, is that you have to stay connected to the vision. You have to see it happening. In your mind, you can never let go of, first off, the number of people, because when you envision this, when you tapped into your, guides, intuition, when you got the download, you saw the room. You had a vision. You saw something that was actually given to you, right? But in the process, it's so easy for people to go into, like confusion mode and rethink the numbers or rethink the price or this. People just get so lost and they derail from their plan because they are letting go of the vision. So the number one, after the piece of the puzzles are put together, when you have that ready, you are going to have to be so strong into pushing things forward, into staying connected with the vision, into your vision, and your intuition will continue to guide you. So it might take you to coffee with so and that so and so opens a door for more guests to come, or just stay connected to the vision and listen to your intuition, because that's what's gonna sell even more. And I can tell you from my own experience, even more than system and processes. You can have the perfect web page and website and this and that, and everything's beautiful, and it's not converting. So I guess it goes back to what Abby said at the beginning, goes back to you, and then being very, very, very close and sold into that vision.
Thank you, Sil. Okay, so I'm gonna go towards a little bit of a different direction here. So my left brain is also talking to me in this space that for me, I already assume that anyone who is hosting a retreat, because it takes around 200 hours to host a retreat, to plan and host a retreat and sell, is very passionate. It's very strong about their why. And they have this intention of helping people. For me, that's already a given. Anyone who does not have that is not going to host a retreat, or they're going to start and then they're going to drop out. But for me, something that really makes a retreat sell is a couple of things that are always one. You need to have one problem that you solve, right? One thing. You do not need to be helping the whole world, right? You do not need to be curing, world hunger. One thing, right? One big problem, one big result. You need to have one client that you serve. Big clarity on who you serve. And then you have to have one message. So it's Christy and I, we call it our streamline of number one's angel numbers, right? So you need to have your one very, very clear message so people understand that you're talking to them. A lot of times we speak from our language, we're talking to ourselves, and the person on the other side has no idea what we're talking about. It happens more often than not, especially when we go into very, very woo-woo language that we assume everyone knows. And if we actually ask the general public, they do not, right? Then we do need to have one marketing strategy that is strong. Because without marketing, you're not going to get those leads. And then you need to have a sales strategy. One sales strategy that is the one that works for you and you keep doing and doing and doing. Because honestly, posting on your social media channels is not sales. It's brand awareness. It's step one of marketing. So when you have all these ones very, very clear, solve one problem for one person, know how that message communicates to them, how do you reach them, and then how do you convert them? That's what makes a retreat actually sell. And yes, behind that is your big, big passion. But if you really see businesses out there, passion can fade because one day you got on 5 calls with potential clients to come to your retreat and everyone said no. And then don't you feel a little bit less passionate that maybe you did in the morning? So having these systems in place that are connected to your purpose and your why allow you to keep this continuity, this compounding effect. So then later on, those clients come and then they come again because you care about them. That's where loyalty marketing comes into play, right? But it's this whole process that is supported, right? The foundations is you, your passion, your purpose. But you do need to have a very clear system on how to get people to sign up for retreats. So retreats are harder to sell than online courses, in all fairness. So, now that we spoke about this, right? And I would like to ask everyone who's in the audience, if you have any thoughts, comments, or one thing that you like the most that you want to take away with you, type it in the chat. Yeah. Again, throughout the day, we'll always be speaking about asking yourself, how does this apply to me? So ask yourself, how does this apply to me, this conversation? And while you do that, we're going to keep going and we're going to be talking about how does intuition, so we're going to go more into the woo-woo stuff of the conversation. How does intuition play a role in retreats?
Take it.
Okay,
Malvina, go ahead, Malvina, go.
Okay, I feel like every time I came up with a retreat concept, it was through my intuition. You know, when I first was drawn to go to Paris, I didn't know why. And when I went there on a solo trip, it was where I got clear on what I wanted in life. And when I returned, I quit my 6-figure job and I launched my coaching business. And that was intuition that got me there. And it was what I call following the divine spark. So sometimes we don't know where it's going to lead. I had no idea that out of me going to Paris for what I thought was going to be a crazy, irresponsible, expensive trip turned into the seed that grew into my retreat business now. So trust your intuition. Same thing happened for me when I did my recent retreat in Thailand. I didn't know anything about Asia. So when I took myself there, I wasn't even sure if I was going to like it, but I felt deeply treated. Like I felt like it was a royal treatment for my spiritual well-being and a wellness well-being, and immediately that dropped in so clearly that also gave birth to my retreat. So I feel like the intuition was always at the foundation of any retreat that turned into a profitable venture for me.
1000%. Oh, you're muted.
Thank you, Malvina. I would say next, Victoria, our intuitive person here, the most.
Yeah, the intuitive person. Yeah, no, we're all intuitive people, everyone. It's just what I do is really help people tap into it. And I think that intuition is relevant at every stage of the retreat planning process, because I think that your intuition is that deep knowing that keeps you aligned with your goals, with your joy, with all of the goodness that life wants to bring to you. And the more you get in the habit of listening to that and vetting every information from the outside world with what feels right and good to me, what resonates with me, like what do I want to do? What really clicks? Your life gets better, it gets easier, it gets like surprising, it gets delightful. So you can ask it about anything. You know, I tune into everything from pricing to season to what I'm going to teach. I'm always listening to my intuition. And I think the biggest piece, and this is a little bit about our scope, so I'll be really quick. The biggest piece in all of this too is, when you know. So when you have, like Malvina was saying, like she knew, like, oh, I got to go to Paris right now. She felt that pull, right? We get those ideas, we get those inspirations. And those are those big moments when we hear our intuition clearly, and you just don't want to ignore those. You want to be curious. You don't have to jump off the cliff because your intuition is nudging you to the edge, but you do want to get curious about why you're standing there. Get curious, and you can ask your intuition, why am I here? Right? It'll keep showing you. And we also have to learn the difference between our intuition and what's not. And so when you make that decision to start to follow and be more intuitively guided, and honestly, every aspect of the retreat experience, can be enhanced by following your intuition, because every aspect of life can be. And, so that's just one little piece. But when we learn to kind of trust it more, it'll also point us to discern the difference between what's our mind and which often takes credit and pretends to be our intuition, the great masquerader, and where the real joy and the gold is. So it's really worth following and setting that intention.
Love it. Just gonna keep myself unmuted. Anyone else? Liesel, yeah.
I want to talk about how, in a very practical sense, my retreats have grown from listening to my intuition. So I was running a small retreat in Kauai, in Hawaii. It was a huge week. We had lots of different things happening, lots of conflicts in the retreat, which I'd never had before, and was dealing with women that hated each other on site. Now I laugh about it. At the time, I was not. But I had this download, and I listened to it, and I really had this vision of a bigger retreat and bringing women together from around the world. And with that ripple effect, then the world can heal a little bit more. And what came out of it was the Ultimate Girls Week away. And we've had women like Elizabeth Gilbert come and speak. We had Gabrielle Bernstein commit to coming. Of course, then COVID happened. We've had women like Amy Lochran, Alana Fairchild, women that are that my intuition said, yes, invite them. And they've all said yes straight away. Gabrielle Bernstein and Elizabeth Gilbert didn't need to say yes. It's not like they can pick and choose what they do, right? But that concept of bringing women together, and I always say when women come together, magic happens. And so bringing women into a space, no matter if your retreat is 2 people or 60 people or 200 women, you can hold this space of magic, and listening to your intuition and calling in what you need for your retreat can be very different from other people. So I say, listen to what you want to do, like really draw on that passion that you have and what your intuition and those whispers in your ears, as Liz Gilbert will say, like listen to those and act on them and really, take hold of what they're telling you. So then you can bring these visions to life and change lives every time you run a retreat.
Thank you, Liesel. Anyone else? Okay, so I'm going to be bringing Christy on stage. She's going to be asking the next question. And this is a surprise question, sort of. You kind of know about it, but it is framed differently. So hi, Christy. Thank you for being here and, helping us through the panel and making sure that we're also covering all the different layers that retreats bring to the table, because it's not just one piece. It's so many pieces. It's a machine.
Yes, well, you all look so beautiful and radiant up here. It's lovely. I will be in San Diego, so I'm excited to see you all in person. I love numbers. I've hosted maybe 15 retreats in my 20 years of coaching, and I'm also a sales and marketing strategist. And so I want to take kind of an opposing perspective on intuition here because I believe in intuition and I love it. But retreats have a really high failure rate. Most people are losing money on their retreats, right? Which is why you have this retreat that you're putting together, Abby, in San Diego, so you can bring the skill of profiting from retreats. And that's what Lenny does. So tell me, where and when should we be looking at numbers and statistics and data for our retreats versus intuition? Because if intuition did the job, we'd all be millionaires.
Ooh,
Yes,
can I hit-
Victoria, go for it.
I really need to hit that one up. It's not an either or. It's not an either or, right? Like we can, I live in the 3D world, even though, like I said, I talk to spirit guides like every day. You don't have to do that. But for me, it makes sense, right? But I live in the real world. I look at numbers all the time. I balance my checkbook. I check my bank account, right? And I do the numbers and I pay attention to that. And as someone who owns a retreat property, right, where people, maybe like 50 people a year at least are booking at my property to do their retreats. And I'm not great with numbers, so it might not be that, but a lot of people, right? Over the time I've been doing this, so many people, most of them aren't making money. Most of them aren't making money. Most of them aren't coming back. Some of them are coming to me after they gave their 50% deposit and begging for it back because they couldn't fill their retreat and they don't want to lose money. So I don't think it's an either or. I think it's a really important part of the conversation. And your intuition can help you with the numbers too, right? But one of my teachers says you're soul smart and are soul wise and earth smart, right? They both matter and they play together nicely. So I just wanted to say that, and then we'll let the real number people take over.
Well, I just actually want to say something before Kellie, who actually does know numbers. The reason why I'm doing this is because I know all these amazing women who are these soulful leaders like myself who do not know what to do. And we need the other people to help us, just like we need to find the people that balance us out, working together. And I know how to put it all together, but the numbers for me, I literally could start hyperventilating when I think about all of the numbers. And so I need someone else to help me on that road. So they're both extremely important. I'm a visionary, but I want someone else to help me do the spreadsheet and help me figure all of that out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Abby. Yeah, very, very important. I think Kellie wanted to say something and maybe we go next with Malvina.
Oh, okay. Well, I've seen this scenario many times because people would approach me and say they want to do retreats. And then we go through the numbers and then they back out. In my collective, I'm fortunate to have 40 plus people there and more. And they all want to have retreats. But when it comes to numbers, it intimidates them, right? But and I was lucky that I had that training when I was younger, and now it just becomes like second nature. But that's the first thing I look at, the numbers. And then I know what I'm working on, right? How I'm going to price it, what's my break-even point, do I, run promotions and at what time and all that good stuff. So, but I just want to say that numbers is really just simple. Especially in retreats, there's no algorithms involved. It's just plus and minus and maybe some multiplication and division here and there. But just know your numbers before you actually market it, because otherwise you will just have that, back and forth scenario. So just be sure that before you market, you know your numbers, you know your targets, and then do your magic in marketing.
Malvina?
I loved what Kellie said. For me, I also want to mention that some of you who might be looking at doing retreats and you're thinking you just heard 30, 40 attendees, it doesn't have to be this way, because you can also have a profitable retreat with just a small group. all my retreats are luxury retreats, and they're small, usually 5, 6, 7 women. I even had a retreat as small as 2 participants, and I did not lose the money on it. And I think the key is right pricing, because what I see a lot, and whether it comes to retreats or to pricing your services of any kind, is that unfortunately, through a lot of cultural programming and years of not feeling worthy, we as women tend to undervalue ourselves. And so we talked about how retreats, the clear message, clear promise of a retreat should be a problem we're solving. And that problem, we need to price it appropriately, right? And when we put the price not based on what kind of lodging is included, what kind of activities we're doing, but rather what's the value of solving this problem, then your profit margins will go through the roof, right? But if we only price it based on a vacation itinerary, then that's no longer a retreat, and this is a losing game. So I think this is a really key, to price it based on the value of the problem we're solving, not based on the tangibles, like accommodations or activities that are actually included in a retreat. And one more thing, even at that retreat that I was thinking, oh boy, am I gonna even break even? Moments like this is where we are giving an opportunity to tap into our innovation within and find other ways, if we're only willing. So for me, not only I broke even at this one, but actually generated more revenue because I came up with a VIP add-on that gave me an opportunity to sell to the only 2 people that were already coming and generate enough extra revenue. And it was a win-win for them and for me. So that's, again, allowing yourself, trusting that there is a way, and maybe sitting in that in meditation to find the right solution.
Yeah, I think your answer is right on, because the women and our value, it keeps us from selling. It keeps us from really understanding a lot of things related to sales, marketing, money, profit, all the things. And so when you can look at it like something outside of yourself that doesn't have anything to do with you, which would be the value of the solution that you're providing, and recognizing it. Lenny tells a story in some of our sales calls of, if you look at divorce in Los Angeles, it costs $200,000 to get a divorce in Los Angeles. And so if you're a dating coach and you host a retreat for $100,000, you are actually saving a couple $200,000. So the value of the retreat then becomes priceless, and you are a savior. And so and then it doesn't have anything to do with you. You're not like, oh, am I good enough? Can I really charge $100,000? It takes you out of the game, and it makes it logical.
Yeah. Something else that I would like to add here is, well, I'm all about profit and running your numbers. I mean, I love my creative side. It's beautiful, and it allows me to create all the different containers and everything that I get to do, right? Have my podcast, paint, everything. But it is supported by numbers. It is supported by knowing what I'm doing. Why am I doing it? Is it worth my time? Because I also value a lot, where do I spend my time? Because time is money at the end of the day. It's you can make more money, but you cannot get more time back. So if I choose to run a retreat, I'm going in knowing that it's worth these 200 hours of my time, right? When I got hired to run a private retreat for Joe Dispenza, I ran my numbers. I said, is this worth my time? In that case, it did, because I got more clients from it, and I got paid, and so many beautiful things happened, and I got to take his retreat and pay $0. So when I ran my numbers and my ROI, my return of an investment on this business opportunity, it came positive. But I've had other moments where I got people saying, hey, I want to hire you for this, and then I looked at my numbers and like, no, this does not make business sense. Now, in this scenario, the way I always check myself, and this is a tip for everyone who is here in the room, I don't know about all about you, but I used to have a job in the corporate world. And every time I had to create an event, I used to do event activations for Marriott Bonvoy for the loyalty program for Middle East and Africa. Every time I created an amazing event, whether it be a dinner in front of the Giza pyramids or a private concert for Craig David or an activation for 11,000 associates, I had to pitch to my boss the project. And that included numbers. So whenever I am in doubt and I ask myself, is this project worth my time, my energy, my money? I sit myself and I imagine that boss, that it was a very nice boss, but still very numbers oriented in front of me. And I present my project. And if he would have said no to me inside of my corporate job, it's a no to me in my business. It's as simple as that, because I would never be able to present a project that has a high percentage of failure in front of them without all the numbers for how much I could make, what are the possibilities, the upsells, this, that, everything. They would have told me, Lainey, go back to the drawing board and bring me something that is feasible, because this is a business. Yes, you're helping people. People are going to be very, very happy when they come and, get these things. I remember once I had it was a gift, and it was like a $300 gift per person. Beautiful gift. It was this box made of mother pearl. No. I was like, ooh, it looks great. But I had to ask myself, even before I presented it, like, is my boss going to approve a $300 gift for the people coming to the event? But I'm already spending $1,000 per head for them to come and have dinner. Does it make sense? Are they going to actually keep it, or they're going to throw it in the trash bin like most of the promotional items that people get? So we need to shift the way we do things and start thinking it as a business, right? When I have clients, I always tell them, think about it in the sense, like if you were to sell your business at some point, it doesn't mean you need to sell it or you want to sell it, but start with that mindset, because it makes you run your numbers a lot easier, because you have a bigger goal in mind. You're like, well, if I ever wanted to sell it, well, people would want to know, is this business profitable? Is this working? Can it be transferable, or it's so connected to me and my person that I can never sell it to anyone else? Asking you all these questions to yourself, it's just such a great way to help yourself bring these two pieces are very important, right? Your intuition and how you want to do things and following your heart, right? Your heart's desire. But I would say, for example, in yoga, there is these, and if you do the sun heart opening poses from Ashtanga. I don't know. I took a 50-hour training to learn how to do the proper poses in Ashtanga. And we learned from this amazing teacher that, you lead with your heart, but then your head follows. I think this is such an important thing. We can lead with our intuition, with our heart, with our passion, but the head needs to follow. It cannot stay behind. They both work together. It's the feminine and the masculine. They cannot be separate. And I see it over and over and over in the retreat business. I just want to help people. I don't care if I make money as long as my holidays get paid. And we're finding excuses because we're trying to be so much in tuned with who we are and everything, that we forget that when we need to stop that business and we need to go back to a 9-to-5 job, or we need to start driving Ubers or whatever you choose to have to make in order to pay your bills, you're not going to be able to help anyone else ever again. Anyway, that was my tiny spiel. Any thoughts, ladies?
There is a really great comment from Julie on the chat that I think we should address in relation to pricing and investment and all of that. Would you like to?
Yes. So when you start, though, at the beginning, isn't it like an investment, like a startup investment, even if it's not right away profitable? I would say, if anyone tells you that your retreat should not make a profit on the first one, run. Run. Because no one ever in their business will tell you, oh, go do this and see, well, if you lose money, it's okay. No one. No one, if you hire a consultant, they will tell you, you might not be having your biggest profit margins on your first retreat. That's okay. But you should not be playing yourself to lose. Why would you put yourself in a position where you already have loss as an option? Do your numbers right. Don't try to start hosting a retreat with 50 people, having a 35 people break even. Really, I can tell you. So I had this. So when I started my podcast, I opened up my calendar, thanks to Christy, who was my coach at the time, for pre-podcast call interviews. And I remember there was this woman who came into my podcast, and it was supposed to be a pre-podcast interview to see if she would be a guest. And she started the conversation this way. And I can tell you, I have learned, and I would never follow through these conversations ever again. But the conversation started like, well, I decided to book this call because I want to see if you can help me sell my retreat. And if you do, then I'll consider hiring you. I was like, okay, why would I, I need to give you it's kind of like giving the milk away before you buy the cow kind of thing. But anyway, I went through in the conversation with her. I was like, well, let's figure out what's going on. I am still a very nice person, but back then I was a chronicle overgiver. So I was like, okay, let's do this, right? So I started asking her questions, and she's like, yes, I have my retreat. There was a lot of money beliefs she was in Canada, so because it's Canadian dollars, no one can afford it, all these things. But then we went into the nitty gritty, and I said, okay, so how many people is your capacity for your retreat? She was 13 people. I said, how many tickets do you have sold? 12. I said, oh, great. Well, you only have one left. I said, but you should, at what point did you break even? 12. 12.
Oh.
12. I couldn't believe it. I was like, who runs their numbers to have less than 10? It's actually, my brain is really much of a calculator. So it's actually an 8% profit. And that is probably not even, and the tickets were like $2,000. If we divide that by the 200 hours of time that she probably put into selling and organizing the retreat, that means she was making $10 an hour. Who here wants to make $10 an hour? Anyone? Any takers? No, right? That's why we do not plan to fail. Really, honestly, I can tell you, I know there are coaches out there telling you that it's okay to lose money in your first retreat. Run away as far as you can. Because no one starts a business thinking that they're going to lose. Yes, you might not be super profitable. You might break even at some points. Business take time to grow and evolve and get into the profit margins that you desire. But you never start with a mindset to lose. What would happen if Michael Jordan used to go on the the field? I don't know, it's not a field, but you know what I mean, right? My English is breaking up with me today. So what if he went into this basketball court? Okay. Went into this basketball court thinking, it's okay if I lose. It's fine. It's part of the process. I am learning. Do you think he would be who he is today? So take it from those people who have really made it. What is their mindset? And that makes a huge difference. Okay. So we need to wrap this up because we have an amazing opportunity for all of you who are here today. So now I'm going to share my screen very, very quickly and you can go and look at all the rest of the details as we go through, you'll get a website, but this is your invitation to join all of us in San Diego. If you want to grow your retreats, if you want to sell out your retreats, if you want to connect with your intuition. Abby, tell us a little bit about this.
Well, this is truly about being the leader that you were just talking about. It's about filling the retreats. It's about growing profit. It's about leading with impact. And so it's about all of these mostly soulful entrepreneurs to take themselves seriously and their business seriously. And so it's really about all of those tools. I mean, think about these women that are just here in front of you. We still have 5 other incredible leaders that are leading workshops and speaking on stage. And we have everything from speaking to the nuts and bolts, what Lainey was just talking about, sales pages, and really, truly building the retreat that you dream of, and leading with impact, and taking your business seriously, and figuring out how to price things. One of the reasons I wanted to do this truly was to bring women together and for them to network and to find people that they might have joint ventures with, where they find the person that maybe has the more technical side, and you want to, and there's a woo-woo person and the technical person. Not that the woo-woo people can't be numbers people. We can, and we can figure it out, and we can learn the tools to do it. So it's really about women coming together, growing their businesses, leading. And also the retreat industry doesn't have one time where all the leaders come together. And I really think that it's important, just like every other industry, that we come together and we learn from each other, that we help each other grow, that there's this idea of continuing education in our industry, because we can sort of do whatever we want because it's not regulated. But what if we sort of came together and said, hey, let's grow together, let's become better together? This is the opportunity for that.
Thank you, Abby. And so it's 4th and 5th of October, right?
Yes, October 4th and 5th in San Diego. And it is sunny San Diego. It's beautiful in October 4th and 5th. All of these women are coming from around the world to be here to guide us, to learn from each other. And it's at the Wyndham San Diego, right on the bay. So it's super close to the airport. We have a great deal that Kellie connected us with for the hotel. And it's just accessible. And we're really hoping for, these women to come together and to have this transformational experience, and that it's only the first one, that we will continue in the future having something year after year to come together.
So tell me, everyone here in the chat, type a 1 in the chat if you're like, ooh, I would like to meet with other retreat leaders and learn more about retreats and connect and build networking. Yes, it is the very best time to be in San Diego with the weather. So we do have a special surprise just for all of you women who are here, and it's only available for you today. Yeah. So you can make, Jennifer, you're in. Yay, I love it. Okay. So this is very, very important, because you will get these connections. In this space of retreats, and in the coaching space, it's a very lonely world. It can feel very, very lonely. So you want to get in the room. You want to sit in the table with all these other people. Even if you're just considering hosting retreats, and it's going to be, you're thinking, maybe I'll do it in 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. A retreat business is not something that you do in one day or the next. It's a long-term idea. Yeah. So making sure that you already are getting yourself into the space, getting to know other people. You will meet people who are not retreat leaders. You will meet people who are retreat leaders. You'll meet people who are retreat dreamers. And it's all about the connections and the partnerships that you can build in the space. And because you are here today with us, we have this amazing deal that Abby put together just for you. That is, the ticket right now is at $597. If I can, if my clicker works and we can go to the next slide, maybe not. Wait, I am in the wrong slide. Wait 1 second. Ta-da! Now you're going to see my presentation on luxury businesses. So, but I'll tell you. So the deal is, the ticket right now is $597. If you use the coupon WILD today, only today, you will get the ticket for $197. This is crazy. These prices not be seen everywhere, anywhere. Okay. So, and because we are in the world of go big or go home, all these amazing speakers have put out for you some extra bonuses. I have the slide to show it to you. So just give me, I know, Madalena, it's a steal. It definitely is a steal. So I'm dropping the link in the chat. So you can start checking out the rest of the information. My share screen is failing. Let's 1 second. See those moments where you're like all in, you're so excited, everything is supposed to be working, and then the technical world decides to play a trick on you. Ah, there we go. So, 1 more second. Ta-da! I am making you all wait for the bonuses. Isn't this exciting? Okay. So, bonus number 1. For the first 3 people who sign up, I have my podcast called How to Run Profitable Retreats. You will get to be a guest on my podcast, and we will record the episode during the conference. It's the number 4 podcast in the retreat industry. You will get in front of a huge audience of other retreat leaders and people who want to retreat and love to attend retreats. This is a space for you to grow your visibility and your business in ways you cannot even imagine. So for the first 3 people, you get to be a guest on my podcast and we get to have fun. So that's also an extra bonus. Bonus number 2, Malvina is going to give you a copy of her book, The Unleashed Entrepreneur. Isn't that great? You also get a 60-minute retreat consult with Liesel. So you can put together your plan so you can host your first retreat or improve the retreats that you already have. And then we have 1 more gift from Kellie. You will get the Retreat Planning Mastery Roadmap. It's a comprehensive guide to creating powerful and profitable retreats. And this is a paid product, so you're going to get it for free. I mean, for anyone who is thinking, oh, well, maybe I need to think about this. Yes, people do pay us $5,000 to be guests on our podcast. So great opportunity. Like this,
Huge.
Yeah. So
I wish I could sign up.
Yeah, I know, right?
I know, me too.
Me too. Me too.
Yes. I mean, you will never find this price for this event ever again for the summit. This is an opportunity just for you. And I thank Abby so much for all of the speakers to bring all this amazing additional bonuses. I mean, you really made this gift a no-brainer. So if you are considering coming to San Diego, that's it.
And hanging out with all of us, networking, making business connections and sister and soul sisterhood connections for a lifetime. This is where it's at.
There's also a VIP availability
Ooh,
as well.
tell us.
So the VIP is front row seats. You get an extra day with the incredible Liesel on Monday. You get an evening reception on Friday, the night before the event. And you get a special lunch with our keynote speaker, Sherry Rosenthal. So all of those things. Oh, and you get an extra beautiful VIP bag that's literally going to be worth about $200. So you're paying right now less than the VIP bag. So there's so many fun treasures and exciting surprises that will also be there along the way.
Yes. And don't forget to use the coupon WILD. That's the only way you can get the price.